Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, or should I say, Happy New Year, everyone, because the day this show this is my final Topic Time episode of 2014, and I have been doing the show in Raynham now for 6 months almost, and I love it here. This is great. This is home, and I hope you guys have enjoyed all the shows that we've shown in 2014, and we have a lot more in 2015. I have many great guests lined up for 2015, so I just want to wish you guys Happy New Year. By the time this show airs, the show with Esmeralda Lambert, the great jewelry designer from the Dominican Republic, will have aired on Christmas Eve, so I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. Wishing you that in advance, even though it's almost like time warp talk, because we're actually taping the show on Friday, December 19th, and I'm taking it for granted you guys will have a Merry Christmas. And if you don't, then it wasn't my fault, because I've already wished you a Merry Christmas, and I'm hoping you had one. But tonight, we're finishing up 2014 with an incredibly talented and interesting guest who drove, like he just told me, 100 miles, which is nothing new. People drive hundreds of miles to appear on my awesome show regularly. This is Scott Beagle, and he's a musician. He's also, I found out, a gaffer for a few film companies, and he's gonna play some music for us. He's an original artist. I've heard some of his stuff, and he sounds great. And we're gonna talk to him and find out what his life story basically. So Scott, thank you for coming in.
You bet.
Awesome.
Pleasure.
But it is okay. He's actually got a surprise for me. He's gonna give me right here on the show. I hope it's not a hand grenade, because I'd be afraid that I might drop it and break it before it blew up. I'm just kidding. But so Scott, tell me something. How long have you been playing music?
I've been playing music since I was about 16.
Okay, and you wouldn't believe how old he is if he wants to reveal his age. That's a lot of years, believe me, more than you can imagine. He surprised me when he told me. Okay, so how did you start? It sounded like you were in high school when you started.
Well, so yeah, it was about that time.
Okay.
My brother had come home with a guitar, and he wasn't really too into it. And then the older siblings had a house party, and the guitar got destroyed.
Just like the Who.
So that was kind of the end of that for me on that end. I believe I got another guitar later on.
Wait a minute, whose guitar got destroyed, his or yours?
It was his guitar, but he had given it to me.
Oh, okay, but who destroyed it?
Oh, who knows?
Oh, it wasn't you, though.
It was a house party.
It was a house party, I know.
Something happened to it. Yeah.
I understand, right.
Yeah. So I stumbled along, after that, and bang around on guitar, but I really wanted to play drums.
Okay.
And I don't think my parents wanted to hear somebody practicing drums at an early age, which I can understand, because I've taught drum lessons before.
You have, okay.
It's a little tough to, it's like somebody learning violin. It's
any instrument is tough. I played the piano for 7 years, so I know all about that. Just curious, where did you teach drum lessons?
I taught privately.
Okay. You still?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't. I probably should get back to it, but
well,
just the time constraints of what I have. Yeah.
All right. So how do you occupy most of your time? I mean, are you a full-time musician now?
Well, at this point, I'm trying to put a band together to do my original stuff.
Okay.
And to get out on the road with that would be great. If somebody with some big cash would put a band around me and put me on tour as an opener for
okay. Well, maybe the show will help you get there.
That'd be great.
Because you're going to get a lot of exposure from the show. But now let me ask you this: when you started playing music, you write a lot? You've been writing your own music for all these years that you've been playing it. Okay. Yep. And you started when you were 16 writing as well?
Yeah, oh yeah, a lot of poetry.
Poetry, good.
Yeah, okay. a lot of notebooks of it. Yeah.
Well, you write poetry and then set it to music. Is that it, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Songs come about different ways. I mean,
that's true.
They don't always happen the same way.
I know. They don't conform to a 9-to-5 schedule.
No, they don't.
I understand. No. Okay. But do you write a lot about your own life situations? Do you write about other people that inspire you? Do you have any? Speaking of inspirations, do you have any musicians that inspire you that you modeled yourself after for some of your music?
Well, some people will probably cringe, but Dave Grohl is a good inspiration.
Why is
to
that?
me.
Why would they cringe? He's an awesome player.
Well, I don't know.
awesome
Some people don't
if you said,
get
if you
what
said
he's
Kurt
into.
Cobain, they might cringe
I
because he
don't
killed
know.
himself.
Well,
They might think you, and we don't want you emulating that.
No.
Okay,
God,
good.
no.
So, but Dave Grohl, I give Dave Grohl a lot of credit. I mean, he was in a great band, but the lead guy took his own life, and
Yeah.
he started another great band.
Yeah.
So
No.
there's nothing to cringe about. That's a thumbs up, I'd say.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying that from what I've read online and things, I don't know. Just
I never
some
heard
people,
anything
some
bad
people
about Dave
put
Grohl
him down a
online,
little bit.
but I mean, to be honest with you, no, I don't know if you know this. We're Facebook friends. I'm a vegan.
Yes.
If you modeled yourself after someone like, say, Ted Nugent, then I'd cringe because he's a hunter and I hate that.
Yeah, right,
Right.
he is.
But Dave Grohl, he seems like a very nice, peaceful guy,
Yeah, he seems like a cool guy.
and he's very talented.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm a big Foo Fighter fan.
He's come a long way.
He
yeah.
has. He's
Yeah.
definitely come a long way, and even some of the, and I'm a big Nirvana fan too from way back, from those years ago before Kurt did himself in. I think some of those songs are wonderful, like "Smells Like Teen Spirit," great album,
Oh sure.
great song, not so much a Courtney Love fan,
Yeah, I can't say that I'm a big
right? But if you said you were emulating her, I might cringe then. Well, all right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Now, you started playing music when you were 16. What did you do as a younger kid? I'm just wondering. What were your aspirations? I like to find out. I like to really go way back. If you can remember, if you want to discuss it. Did you do any singing, acting? Did you do any? I mean, did you sell lemonade? Did you do stuff that set you apart from the kids in the neighborhood? Play sports or anything like that?
I think I was kind of an average kid, I guess. I
Okay.
kind of did what other kids did. I had, was into the Evel Knievel wind-up
There you go.
cycle and all
Okay.
that
Yeah.
stuff. And
Did you grow up in New Hampshire?
yes,
Oh, you did. Okay. What town? I'm curious.
I grew up in Kingston. New
Kingston.
Hampshire.
Oh, all right. You're
Yeah.
right near the Amesbury line, the Amesbury State
Yep.
line.
Yep.
There used to be a camp in Amesbury called WEMAC back in the. I don't know if I went there in 1969, and you may remember that. You may not. That's up to
don't.
you. You probably don't. But but we used to try. I remember we went deep sea, and of course at that time I wasn't a vegan. But on July 18th, 1969, we did go deep sea fishing in Kingston, and I actually got seasick, and I caught a couple of flounder. And I'm not bragging about it, but that's something. That's what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
So that's what there was a lot of it available, but I'm bragging more about getting seasick than about catching. I'm bragging more about the fact that I
Wasn't the
that I
size
just
of
had
the
the
fish.
dry heaves. I didn't throw up anything solid or liquid, so
Right.
So
Oh, that's good.
I handled it well.
Excellent.
All right. Well, okay. So you did that. You were an average kid. Did you make a playlist of stuff you're going to play today?
No, I'm just gonna wing it.
Just going to wing it. All right. Tell you what. Why don't we hear you? Let's hear what you got. You want to do a song?
Sure, why not?
And we'll talk about every song after you do them.
Well, first I'll do a little Christmas song.
Okay.
It's something that I wrote. It was just kind of a funny idea that I had.
Okay, you
but,
can just talk about it first if you like.
it came about. I was just trying to think of, I said, well, Adam Sandler's got a Christmas song,
There's a Hanukkah song.
and
Okay.
all that. And I said, well, I got to come up with something, and I couldn't really think of what to do, and this is how it came about. I said, well, okay. And I looked at my Beagles, and I said, oh, can you imagine that they want to rob a bank and
Your Beagles. You
yeah.
have 3 Beagles. Okay, you mentioned
Right,
that. Okay.
right. And so basically, it's a tune about 3 Beagles that heist a dinosaur exhibit,
Oh, great.
and then they shoot down to Mexico to escape the law.
I love it.
And they become legends and folklore.
And somehow you incorporated that into a Christmas carol.
Somehow.
All right, let's hear it.
All
I'm
right.
dying to hear it now.
So we got Christmas Beagles in
Okay,
Mexico.
Christmas Beagles. Is that the name of the song?
Yep,
Got
Christmas Beagles in Mexico.
You heard him.
This is a story about 3 beagles that I know. Said one to the other, I'm tired of begging for bones. Late that afternoon, they all hatched a plan. The dinosaur exhibit, yeah, they just had to score a van. They were professionals, they didn't hurt no one. Just a blur for on video, yeah, those beagles sure can run. They were headed south down to sunny Mexico. It was Christmas Eve and starting to snow. Christmas beagles in Mexico. Whoa. Christmas beagles in Mexico. Whoa, 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 yeah. Christmas beagles in Mexico. Whoa. The cats have been tailing them all the way, ratting out their trails to the SPCA. Now the three amigos are chilling by the pool in their sombreros, yeah, they look so cool. Margaritas to beagles all the world round. Those three amigos, yeah, were never found. Now every Christmas Eve, if you're still and don't make a sound, you can hear those hound dogs barking and howling and barking and barking and howling. Christmas beagles in Mexico. Whoa. Christmas beagles in Mexico. Whoa, 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 yeah. Christmas beagles in Mexico. Whoa, 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 yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic. I'm sure your puppies, I'm sure your beagles love that. Tell me about your beagles. Are they all related, and how old are they?
My beagles, well, my oldest beagle, Jake.
You have three, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
I have two girls and a boy.
Okay.
The oldest beagle, Jake, I believe is 7.
Okay.
And the two sisters, he's their uncle, and the two
Oh, I see.
and the two sisters are, I believe, 6.
Oh, that's awesome. They twins?
No, they're not quite twins. No.
Oh,
They,
okay.
they get at each other. You know, they're
That's
like
awesome.
siblings as well. Yeah.
Okay, so that the beagles are very cute puppies. I know that. Now they don't grow too big, do they?
No, they're pretty small.
They're
dogs.
right, that's what I
They're
figured.
brush dogs
Right.
kind of thing for hunting rabbit kind of stuff.
Oh, I hate to think of hunting rabbit.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
Well, I mean, you don't have to let them hunt rabbit. I mean,
No, these ones don't hunt.
that's good.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, these beagles do not hunt.
that's good. I understand. I know some people like using them for hunting, but that's obviously something
yeah.
that bums me out big time. Well, that's adorable though. I mean, you turn your three you idolized them for a Christmas Carol, and you got one, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
I can see that. I can kind of see that. Now there would be something. Now let me ask you this: have you ever done like a music video?
I have. Well, that one is actually a music video.
It is. Is it on YouTube?
Yes, it is.
Oh, good. We'll have to watch it. So how did you put it together?
Well, I've been producing everything myself.
Right.
Music and videos, and I put this together using a green screen
Okay.
and just going about it that way and adding the stuff in the background.
Wow.
And yeah, it's kind of tricky.
Well, right. It is tricky. I know. I've done editing myself. I didn't. You know something? I didn't even realize you did film production. So I'm glad. This is the great thing about Topic Time. I ask the questions and I get all the answers that I need to get to make the show more interesting with the guests that are certainly interesting. So when it comes to did you actually do this all by yourself with the camera and everything?
Yes.
You did, and then the editing as well.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get your dogs to cooperate? What did you do? And what did you have them do? I have to see this video. I didn't even know.
Yeah, sure. So it's under Scott Beagle on YouTube, and it's Christmas Beagles in video. Christmas Beagles in Mexico. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But if you even Google that, it'll come up.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, some of the parts I had the beagles jumping into a car,
Wow.
and
Was that all computer generated?
no.
You just make them jump into a car and then all three of them at once?
Pretty much, they're kind of climbing in. I kind of made it look like they opened the door
They opened the
to
door.
steal a vehicle.
Exactly,
To go,
to go to Mexico.
So
Get to Tijuana.
some green screen and,
Right.
and some shop lights, a little bit of diffusion,
Right.
and just myself being goofy.
Exactly. I like
You
it.
know.
And that's a very good concept. And now you told me you wanted to form a band though, but you
I
need a little financing
well, I,
and some
I would
exposure too, obviously. And that's what the show's going to give you,
sure.
hopefully. I know I will. I'm only kidding.
Well, yeah, I'm at the point now where I'm starting to record my second album,
Okay.
and
How long did it take you to record your first one?
oh, you don't even want to know.
Yes, I want to know. That's why I asked you,
all right,
because it's
a big
important.
I had a big learning curve. I went from a PC to a Mac.
Okay.
That was the big one there, and then I went from like Cakewalk program to a Logic 9 program.
Okay.
So there was this huge learning curve up ahead. And then I thought I had it all down, and I went and recorded some tracks, and I brought it to a friend of mine who does sound, live sound for bands. And
Okay.
he says, "Did you hear that?" I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Exactly." I was like, "What?" He's like, "What did you use for microphones?" And so anyway, he read me the riot act. And
Sure.
so I had to re-record tracks. I had to, it was a lot of re-recording of things to make it proper.
Well, at least you had
And-
help. I mean, it's important to find people that are. There's nothing wrong with asking for help, especially when you create something like this. You can't do it by yourself.
Oh, well, yeah,
I mean,
it's tough.
I know it's fun to. I know it's not fun to think you can, but to create something really professional, it's kind of a team effort. I would think you really would need other people to help you, and especially,
Yep.
I mean, because for instance, let's say you did create it by yourself. In all likelihood, you wouldn't. You might not have liked it. You might have said, "Well, wait a minute, what did I do? This didn't sound as good as it could." And then ultimately, instead of having to go through that, you didn't have to because he took care of it for you,
Right,
which is
right.
great.
Well, ultimately, I would like to have a multi-million-dollar production company.
Okay, I'd love to be part of it if you have me.
Yeah,
There's some way I
exactly.
can do it.
So, so back to all this learning curve and
Right.
everything. So it took me probably about 5 years to put out my first CD.
Okay, that's fine. Nothing to be
And-
ashamed of.
But now everything's set up. The software is set up. Now I plug and play, so to speak, and then I can just go back and mix and
Right,
master.
mix
so
and match, right.
So it's a lot easier now. But it was just a big learning curve up ahead, to get where I am now.
Well, speaking of learning curves, did you go to school for any of this stuff outside of? I mean, and did you learn any of this stuff in school when you were in public school?
None of it.
Nothing. So you never went to college. Did you ever go to college?
I didn't.
Nothing. Wow, that's amazing. 'Cause- well,
I did finish high school.
No,
I got my
that's
diploma.
Good for you. But I'm saying, well, when you were in high school, now the fact that you said you were 16 when you started, did you collaborate in any musical projects while you were in high school?
Yeah, I did. I had a friend of mine who's now down, I believe, in Tennessee. He's a
Okay.
phenomenal guitar player.
Okay.
He and I grew up near each other, so we jammed a bit.
Sure.
And he taught me a few things on guitar, and I was mostly on the drum set at that point.
Oh, I see.
And,
Okay, so did you start out with drums before you got to the guitar? I mean, you said you wanted to play drums.
Yeah, no, I started out on guitar
Okay.
originally, just banging around on it, and then that got broken.
Well, I know, you broke into the house party.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. You say your friend went to Tennessee. Any chance did he have Nashville in mind when he went down there?
Not sure what he had in
Have you
mind.
lost touch with him? Because I was thinking it sounds...
Yeah, basically I have. I mean, he'd gone down there. It's kind of weird because everybody I had gone to school with, I really don't. I'm not really connected with anybody.
Well, I'm saying
it's just kind of a
the
strange thing.
the reason I'm asking you is because it sounds to me like it might behoove you to try and find them and maybe do something. Maybe if you're going to start a band, you might as well start with someone that has the talent and that's in sync, that has been in sync with you before for playing music.
Yeah,
I mean, it might be. I mean, at the very worst, you don't find them, but why not give it a shot?
sure. Yeah, well, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in a couple of folks.
Unless you have some people in mind around
yeah,
now. That's
yeah,
good. Okay.
yeah.
No, I didn't know if you had anyone. So you already got people in mind to start a band with, possibly, and are they on board with it?
Well, there's one. I have a guitar player that's on board.
Okay.
But it's tough going. I mean,
Of course it is.
and then now we're up on Christmas time and the holiday season, so
Well, I don't mean. Well, of course, you got
busy
to
and-
take your time and you got to have you enjoy your holidays too.
so-
But 2015 is just around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks away, starting yesterday, as of yesterday.
Mhm.
And and your resolutions for New Year should be get it up and running the best you can.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounded really good. You want to do another song? You want to talk some more? Whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna touch base a little more on the film stuff too.
Go ahead, please do.
Here in Boston, give a shout out to the 481 crew, all my brothers and sisters in the 481 union.
Okay, what do they do? Are they gaffers? Is that what you said?
Well,
They
it's
build
a mix.
stuff.
It's
They
a
build
studio.
sets?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
studio mechanics. I mean, we work in different departments. Unlike, like, say, California, for instance, they have specific people for specific departments. We here in New England, we can cross into other departments. So I could work one day as a grip. I could
Okay.
work one day as a rigging electric. I could work one day as a construction. So there's or set deck. I mean, there's many.
Well, let me ask you this: in order to have achieved that union status, you never where did you learn how to do that stuff? If you never went to college, or did you just self-taught?
Jumped right into it.
Good for you. That's awesome. No,
Yeah. I learned on the fly. You know, it's
okay.
just the way.
That's wonderful because I couldn't do that.
I had a couple of good people who are no longer with us.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah.
Jake Forrester and Mike D'Aso. Those are the two guys that got me into the industry here in Boston.
Oh, I see. Were they from Boston?
Yeah, pretty much,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this: when you say in Boston, now do you spend you live in New Hampshire?
Yep.
But do you spend a lot of time doing work in Boston for the union?
I do. When the film work is here and I'm busy doing that, I'm down here in Boston.
Okay. And that includes for the major films, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The Adam Sandler stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
I had just finished a new Disney film.
Wow.
Called The Finest Hours.
Well, who's in that? Because I would love to work for Disney, to be honest.
I know
with you.
there's Chris Pine is in it, and then there's Casey Affleck. Is that his name?
Yeah.
He's in it, and honestly, I don't know too many other people in it.
Where was that shot? Was it in Boston?
Yeah, this
Okay.
was the Big Quincy Shipyard.
Oh yeah.
That giant
The
building.
Fall River Shipyard, I think.
Well,
Not in Fall River. It's called the Fall River. It's not in Fall River, Mass.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Right. I know. I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
It's a huge shipbuilding building.
Facility. Right. Yeah.
And
okay.
they dug this huge pool in there. It was 15 feet deep. and
Okay.
A huge pool. I mean, it's all about the water. You know, it's based on 1952 Coast Guard off of Chatham,
Oh, really?
Mass, and some ship. I'm sorry, boats go on a ship. Some ship was out there that cracked or was cracking in half, so they had to go out and rescue.
The only one I could
36
think of was the
people.
Andrea Doria, but that was 1956, I think, and that was not the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but one of the gentlemen that was on the actual ship was in the engine room
Okay.
when this all happened.
Yeah.
He came and toured the set, you know,
Wow.
and talking to whomever.
Must
I
have been
had
pretty
talked to.
old.
Yeah, he was
80s, 90s at least.
something.
Wow.
Yeah, but he was a survivor of it.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Just
Were
looking
there-
at yeah.
Were there some deaths too?
Oh, I'm sure there were.
Oh, there were. Okay, I hate to
sure
ask
there
that,
were,
but I just figured because it sounds like it was.
I don't know the entire
I wouldn't think
story.
it did. I didn't. Right, but I wouldn't think Disney would make a film about a tragedy. They're usually pretty upbeat. It's usually pretty upbeat, except for.
Well, I think it's got a good ending to it.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Okay,
yeah.
well that's good. All right, well that's wonderful. So you were, yeah. So you got? Do you ever get to meet any of these? I mean, do you ever get to work right alongside the big stars doing this stuff?
Sure. The Judge in 2013, we were out in Shelburne, Mass.
Okay, what do you mean the judge?
The movie The Judge.
Oh, the movie The Judge.
Robert
I
Downey
actually know
Jr.
my movies and I don't. Who's in The Judge?
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, good.
And
Wow.
Robert Duvall. Is that it?
Duvall, really?
Ah.
Okay, but
I'm trying to think. Yes, and yeah, it should be. I think it's kind of Oscar worthy myself. I went and saw it.
Okay.
But yeah, Robert Downey, great guy. You know, a lot of these actors I run into are really sweethearts. You know, they give you the time.
That's
They'll
good. I'd
talk
love to
you.
get them on my show if you could tell them how great it is. Well, that's awesome. So you got to. Now this is union work, so it sounds like you've always got something on the horizon, especially given the fact that there's so many new projects going on here in New England, film-wise.
Well, we're more busy in the summer, in the warmer weather,
Well, of
because
course.
the Cali people don't want to come out here and freeze, you know,
Right.
in the winter. So.
Speaking of Cali, you mentioned that you did some stuff out there. You want to talk about that? That sounds interesting. I want to hear about that.
Yeah, I had spent about 3 years in California, and
Did some film work out there, but out there you actually were acting in some films.
Well, I did some student film work.
Okay.
And the money work that I did was pulling star wagons and driving grip trucks.
Okay.
So
It
it was non-union stuff. Sorry, guys, but
still, it must have paid pretty. I mean, you got to
yeah, it
work with
was good.
stars out there.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
who did you? Whose star wagon did you pull, quote unquote? If you, just anyone I.
Yeah, it really was random. I mean,
Okay.
it didn't matter the crew get up and go. You know, you
Right.
just hook on to something and go. But yeah, I've met a lot of actors, and
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, it was a pretty good time. It was a good experience.
Sure. I'm
And-
sure it was. But why? What made you? I mean, now you have a family. You have you're married and you have kids.
Mhm.
Now, how long ago did you say 3 years ago that you were out there? When were you out there?
Oh, I was out there early to mid '90s.
Oh, okay. Were you?
I came back in like 1999.
Okay, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to do the timeline here. Did you have children when you were out there?
I had one.
Okay, but I mean, what made you decide to go out there? Did you hear that was with some work? Was
Well,
available?
yeah, a friend of mine, Richie Dion, said
Okay.
he has relatives that work in the stunt business and,
Okay.
and things like that out
Right.
there. He said, "Hey, do you want to come out and try this out?"
Okay,
So I said, "Yeah, well, sure, why not?" You know.
right, wow.
And so I went out and I stayed out there for about 5 months on my own. I left.
Southern
my-
California, around the Hollywood area?
Yeah, I was about 40 minutes north of LA,
Okay.
out in a little town called Santa Clarita.
Oh, I know what that is. I visited my brother. He was doing law school in San Diego in 1997,
And,
so I've been out there too.
Yep.
Wow, okay.
So I generally like the mountain range and
Yeah.
the high deserts out there, but you know the city's the city. It's
Right.
always a city.
Of course. Trendy.
Yeah.
Love that. Oh, so you were out there for 5 months and you got some more. So you brought your first child out there, right?
Well, my wife came out, and
Okay.
then we had been living there for a while, and of course she got pregnant, and
Yeah.
so about my daughter's first year, we decided to head back because we had already decided ahead of time, saying when they were ready to go to school, we wanted to bring them back to New England to go
Okay.
to New England schools.
Okay.
And but it happened a little sooner because then she got pregnant again. I said,
Okay.
"Well, okay, we got to go."
Right, I understand. Oh, because you want, yeah, but you got pregnant, you're still a few years before they go to school. You just wanted to make sure your kids got educated in New England, right?
Yeah,
And that they
yeah.
were, okay.
Yeah, because at the time, I don't know what it is now, but at the time it was more like the California schools were pretty far behind New England.
Is
at
that so? I
time.
never would have
Yeah,
known. I
yeah.
never even thought of that. How so are they behind us? Just curious.
I think it was some more so academically. They were just
A lot more dropouts in California?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't
don't
know. I
know.
was just wondering. Yeah, maybe it makes
I'm
me
not
think.
putting California school
I
down.
understand, right.
I'm just saying it's our preference that we wanted to be
Doing
back
it,
here for
right.
that. You know.
Okay. So right now you got a pretty good life with the union stuff, and it does keep you pretty busy, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, there's been. Oh, yeah, that brings me to this point.
Go ahead.
There's good years and bad years,
Right.
and when our local officials or governors decide to say and put a scare out and say, "Hey, we're going to cut tax credit for the films coming here,"
Wow.
they killed a good year of my work
I think they did that in Rhode
when
Island,
they
too.
did that, and you know, it is. People should know if somebody like, you know, Tom Cruise comes to town, is making $20 million a movie.
Right.
He's working in Massachusetts. He has to pay working tax to Massachusetts while he's here working.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, that's just that. The film crew also brings in the food industry, the restaurants, the hotels.
Sure.
They take over, like a production, like Disney took over an entire hotel, you know,
Wow.
for months. For what, 4 or 5, 6 months?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy money. So when people start saying they're going to cut the tax credit for films coming here, that is just the most absurd thing because more money comes here. Yeah.
It's good for the economy. It's bad if they cut the right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It's good for everybody.
It sure is,
and they
I
try
know.
to make it sound like it's not.
Well, I
But,
know.
you know.
I was actually an extra in 2 films myself, including Shutter Island, and I know how the town of Medfield, which is a very rural town, west of Boston, where I was actually a mental patient in the film role. I
No
was brought
way.
to
I
play.
worked on that too. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Medfield State Hospital was a former mental hospital.
Yes, I was there.
Oh, you were. Oh, you were there. Oh, you were on
Yeah.
Sutter Island too. Were you?
Yeah.
You were doing the building, right?
I was a prop maker on that one. Yeah.
Were you? What did you make?
I made the gates that they go drive
Oh, yeah,
through.
yeah. At the beginning, right?
I
Wow.
made all the cells.
Wow.
The elaborate steel stairway that was supposedly in the light
That
tower.
that must have paid you pretty good.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a pretty grueling job. That was
I
a
know it was
lot.
grueling, especially considering the fact that all those buildings at that facility look condemnable. They're all broken windows, rotting bricks, and yet the townspeople treat it like a shrine because of this movie and stuff that goes on. And it was great.
Something spooky happened to me there.
What?
Well, in February, it was like February when we started.
2008, I believe. That's where they started the filming
Was that?
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were pulling plywood off the windows that were boarded up.
Yeah.
It's an old mental hospital.
I know it
you
is. I
right?
was inside.
Anyway, I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it. I'm
Okay.
on a scissor lift and I'm pulling the plywood off a window. And I
Right.
swear I saw an image of a young 20-something-year-old girl.
Like in the movie, like Michelle Williams' character.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But in like a nightgown kind of thing or a bed gown
Wow.
kind of thing. Just for a flash for a second, it was just really creeped me out, put the hair up on the back
I
of my
bet.
neck, you know.
This is a great story. Wow, I love that.
So
It's good
that was,
stuff.
and it still stuck with me today. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how I remember that. But there were a lot of strange stories about that place.
So
you
you like
know.
it's haunted, yeah.
Tunnels to the doctor's house and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I don't know exactly.
All I
what
know
went
is they
on
had
there.
me in handcuffs and foot shackles, and they led me across the floor. And that scene was shot on March 12th and March 13th of 2008. And Martin Scorsese directed the scene, and he was awesome. He told me,
Yeah.
you know, I'm Sarah Silverman's cousin, as
Yeah.
we know, and I told him that. Well, I didn't tell him. The girl that played the nurse that was escorting me, her name was Nellie, she'd worked with Sarah out in Hollywood, and she told Scorsese that I was Sarah's cousin. And Scorsese said, "Oh yeah, I see the family resemblance. Now how cool is that?" And we had a great chat.
Here you go.
Right. Now let me ask you this: they're doing a film in Rhode Island called Bleed for This. Are you in that at all? It's about, well, I guess not. You would know it, but it's a,
Yeah, I'm
it's a
not
boxing
sure.
film. It involves Vinny Paz, you know, the boxer from Rhode Island.
Okay, yes,
Right.
I do know that that's going on, but I
You're not part of that?
No.
Have you ever done anything in Rhode Island? Because the film industry's kind of getting big there too.
I had done a pilot in Rhode Island. It never took off. I'm not. I to this day
You
I
don't
don't
remember it?
remember the name of it. It was so long ago, but I remember about the time I got into the union and back into film work here in Boston. My friend was working on Underdog down there
Oh, Underdog, great film, right? Yeah,
with the Beagle.
yeah, with the Beagle. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Underdog was a Beagle.
Yeah,
The Cape.
yeah. So that was about it. I did So I did that pilot, and there was something else I can't quite remember
Well, it's
what
all
it
right.
was, but
Was there now everything is for. What about like TV stuff? Have you ever done anything for TV? Just like like sitcoms or any of that stuff?
the only thing I've done for television was when Fox came to St. Amsel's College
Yeah,
up
in
in.
St. Anselm's, you mean?
Yeah, is
Okay.
that how you? I'm sorry,
That's okay.
killing the
A
name.
friend of mine went to that school. That's how come I know the name.
So we did a television setup there, and
For what?
It was some kind of election primaries.
Oh,
or-
okay, yeah,
of
New Hampshire
something or
election.
other. Yeah, and
Okay.
I know what it was. It was the
Presidential
the
primary?
debates.
Oh, the debate. Sure,
yes.
sure. Okay. Of course. Why not have them in New Hampshire? That's where the primaries begin
Yep.
every presidential election year.
Yep.
Now, is this your first TV appearance per se? Or
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm on it, of course.
Thank you.
Well, listen, you
Me
want to play
too.
another song? You can think of something. If you want, we can keep talking. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Well, I'll knock out another number. This is actually a tune that's going to be on my new CD.
Yeah, I'd like to hear some of your CD stuff. It took you 5 years. I like it. You must have some good material up here in your head.
I'll play a track that I just finished. Well, it's pretty much finished. It's going to go on. It's going to go on a new CD for
Awesome.
next year.
Okay.
And
Which I'm certainly looking forward to hearing.
it's called OCD.
Oh, I love it.
Which
I have it.
I'm sure
There you go.
a lot of people have it in a lot of different ways.
And I'm proud of it, too.
They don't realize it sometimes.
I realize it. Well, go ahead. Let's hear it.
Okay. Here I am lying in your bed. I say you're crazy, crazy in the head. You look at the world through your TV set. You think it's cruel, and it makes you upset. Oh. You love your dog more than you love me. You say he's the only one that never hurts me. Early to rise, early to bed. You got OCD living in your head. Oh. Here I am lying in your bed. I say you're crazy, crazy in the head. You look at the world through your TV set. You think it's cruel, and it makes you upset. Oh.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. It pretty much sums up, well, people with OCD. And
Yeah, sort of.
that's great. That's fantastic. I'm just wondering, is there anyone that you know that inspires you to write that, or did you just...
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I mean, when I write songs, I take the liberty because of the art form of it. I'll take, things from reality, and then I'll throw in a little fiction.
There you go.
So I kind of mix it up. So I mean, there's some truth to some of the stuff that I do, but
Yeah.
there's also fiction in there too. So it.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. I love that song. That was really cool. I definitely would say. That would be the kind of song you could make a great music video to. And I'd love to be starring that. I've been in music videos, so if you need any quirky actors for music videos or anything, any film that you're doing, please look no further. I was actually in a film up in over the summer that they played on the show. I had one of my co-stars was a guest on my show back in early October, called Monster No More. It was directed by a guy named Chris Dreyer, a young guy, probably I'm guessing no more than 19, 20 years old.
Wow.
You know him? He's from New Hampshire. That's why I was wondering. No,
What's the name again?
Chris Dreyer. Well, here's the reason. Here's how it worked out. I went up and I covered this web series called Paragods that they shoot up in New Hampshire, up in Sandown, and also Berlin. You know those towns,
Okay,
right?
yep.
Okay. It's kind of like a very raunchy comedy sitcom, well, not a sitcom, but a web series, an ongoing web series about first responders.
Okay.
Fire station, and it's a lot of sexual content and stuff. And the day I went up there to interview the group and got to be in it too, Chris was up there too as an extra, and he invited me to be in his film festival. So the next about 3 weeks later, on the first day of summer, Saturday, June 21st, we spent a whole day from 8:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night in the towns of Oxford and Topsfield, Mass, which are, Topsfield's where they have the fair.
Yep.
Right. And I got a really cool speaking role, so
Nice.
it was great. So I'm saying, that's why I was wondering if you ever create something like that, or if you know someone that does, or you work with someone that does. And I always try to use leverage for topic time to get myself more work in the
Sure.
film industry too.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, right. So please just give me a holler. I'm there.
All right.
All right.
Sounds
But anyway,
good.
but let's talk about you. So this was pretty good. You told me when you came in that you write a lot of poetry. You might have mentioned that even since the show you started. You mentioned you write poetry and you put it to music. Do you do a lot of poetry that you don't put to music, or do you tend to like to write, to have poetic thoughts in your head that you write down?
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff that I've written that may make it to music or may not.
Right, that's what I mean. So you do have a lot of stuff.
I have a lot of notebooks full of
stuff.
thoughts and some poetry
Some
and
prose
some
and stuff.
thoughts and
Yeah.
things. And I've actually picked out a couple of things recently from some old stuff that I'd written
Okay.
that was going to go on the next CD as
There you
well.
go.
So I kind of pick and choose and pull from whatever I can, kind of thing, or what interests me, so to
Exactly.
speak. And then once in a while, these little songs come along that just happen within 15 minutes.
Wow.
And of course, I hit the record button and
There you go.
get the basics down. And
Yeah.
it seems to me like most of the songs that I enjoy that I've written that just happen so quickly. It just flows right out of you. And the ones that you struggle for and forced to come out of you, it's just, they're not as good. They're not, they don't have that feel of the flow.
I understand. You're right. They have to flow. Exactly. Let me ask you this: have you ever played any clubs or anything, or any
Back in my 20s, I did a lot of drumming in top 40 bands.
Okay.
And just local clubs and things like
understand,
that. Yeah.
Okay,
But as far as this whole project, I'm kind of gearing up now to either do it acoustically, solo, or I'm trying to put a band
put a
together.
band
as I
together?
said,
Right.
yeah.
I understand.
So,
Okay, now, in your band, how many are you seeking to spell the band?
well,
You're
I'm
not
just
sure. 2 or
yeah,
3 people, 5.
yeah, probably 3 people. Kick,
Okay.
drum and bass and a lead guitar player. Because I don't fancy myself as a lead player by any means. I mean, I'm a rhythm player.
I understand.
So,
I
yeah.
understand. You like.
So.
Well, what about have you ever done any work with women in music? Like, have you ever collaborated with any female artists?
Not yet.
Would you ever consider that? Why don't
Sure.
you get a female vocalist for your band?
Well, I don't know about that.
Why not? Don't you think pretty voices
think-
are female a lot in a lot
I think
of cases?
what my wife had told me that if I worked with a female artist, it would have to be Edie Brickell.
There have to be some. Why you? Oh, it have to be.
I don't know, because she likes her. I don't know.
Well, that's not so bad.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
somebody like Edie Brickell,
Yeah.
married to Paul Simon. Why
Yeah.
not?
Right.
Yeah. Wow, that would be cool.
So-
Why don't you bring? What about your wife? Is she musically inclined, or any of your family members?
She tells me she cannot carry a tune in a bucket.
Well, she tells you, but what do you think of
Well-
her? I mean, have you ever heard her try to sing?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? You can. Oh, all right, put it this way. Since she's probably going to see the show,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we don't have to. I mean, if you want to take the fifth on that, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. But I was going to say. I mean, it would seem to me. I don't know. It's kind of cool having. I've always liked the mix myself. Some of the best
Yeah.
bands,
Yeah.
like the Talking Heads, they have a mix. They have and a lot of bands that have just males have a lot of backup females, like Steely Dan.
Yeah.
If you ever, I'm a big Steely Dan
Oh
fan
yeah.
from
Yeah.
way back.
Yeah.
My favorite song they ever did was Deacon Blues from the Asia album.
Okay.
You know Deacon Blues, don't you?
I'm sure if I heard the melody offhand
I
right
went
now,
to
I'm kinda-
work the saxophone and I
Okay.
play just what I feel. I know I
Okay.
can't sing to save my life either. But what I'm saying to you is that sometimes when you create a band, and I like to give my guests ideas that might behoove them, just running by them. Having female backup singers are great for the band. It gives it a really nice melodic and harmonious sound.
Oh sure. I would. Yeah, that would be my idea. Would be hopefully.
I mean,
to
unless you're
find
doing heavy,
musicians
and
that
even
can
if you did
sing.
like heavy metal, I'll tell you something. There's a woman. There were two women that come to mind right now that you might want to hook up with on Facebook. And I'll tell and when we get done with the show, I'll write down their names and you can contact them. One is Jacqueline Seymour, who lives out in the very bucolic town of Spencer, Mass, which is about 10 miles north of Worcester. And another one is a woman named Melissa Casella, who lives on the Cape. And the two women are very different in their styles. Jackie Seymour, I went to her house back on last December 14th of 2013 and covered it. She's very talented. She actually doesn't even know how to read notes, but she's taught herself music and how to play the piano and sing. And she's done some really good music videos. And Melissa Casella and she's, she does very mellow stuff. Melissa Casella, on the other hand, is a very hard-ass rocker. Pardon my French. And I covered a show. She did and it was fitting for the day. It was actually, she invited me back a couple of years ago on March 11, 2012, to cover a Hyannis, a fireman's chili cook-off, and she did, and her and a band. I think they're called. I can't think of it. It's something like the New England Bite, the New England Bite group or something. It's a really great band, and she sang. She's the lead singer. And she's a wonderful singer. I mean, and I don't know. I don't know if you ever want to do like heavy. I mean, she might be someone like if you want to do any heavy metal stuff, she'd be great. She looks like Shania Twain. She's like Shania Twain and Lita Ford rolled into one. You remember Lita Ford?
Yep.
From the Runaways? Okay,
Oh,
or
yeah.
even Joan Jett,
Yep.
who was also in the Runaways.
Okay.
Okay, right, back in the day, yeah. And I'm telling you, these two women, I don't know if they could help you, but I'm just saying, it might behoove you to look into talking to them and seeing if they want to, jam with you,
Yeah.
singing wise,
Yeah.
vocal wise.
Yeah, I'm interested in working with a lot of people. I mean,
Sure you are. I know that.
It's
You're a team player. I can tell.
yeah, it would be a lot of fun to, even if it wasn't my project, it would be
Of course.
fun to work on somebody else's project. You know, that way I get the hands off and I can just show up and play.
Right.
You know, and there's no
Yeah, you
engineering
do.
to
You follow their lead, and you're all set. You don't have
Right.
to. You know how to read notes if you have to, right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're right, exactly. Because I was going to say, and that's pretty cool too. That you know, because playing like your own. Collaborating is great, and you can come up with a lot of good a
Yeah.
lot of good projects doing that.
Oh yeah.
So definitely
Absolutely.
an idea. Yeah, because I mean, because another thing is if like Jackie's done some music videos and I don't know, and she knows some people that produce really good, that can produce really good videos, and that might behoove you as well.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah, I've been. It's kind of funny. Years ago, I bought an $89 Kodak little camera.
You mean a camcorder? Or
No, it's just a camera.
Okay.
But it'll take video,
Oh, good.
and that's what
$89. You think it would?
But the
lot
funny thing
expensive
is,
for a camera.
that's what I've been producing all my videos on.
That's great. And so you stay at the same camera now? How many years have you had this camera?
Oh,
Well,
I don't know, well over 5, I'm sure.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. So now, do you have like editing equipment and stuff? You do all that on your computer, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm on a MacBook Pro.
You're on a Mac. I am on a Mac too. I like
And
Macs.
I'm using iMovie and
Okay,
yeah.
that's fantastic.
I mean, I'm very simple at it. I'm not a very technical computer guy.
Right, I understand, but
And-
that's why you need to network yourself and get
Oh,
other
yeah.
people on board.
Yeah.
Because there are people that are experts and they'll help you. And if
Yeah.
they think what you got is worth trying to help for themselves for their benefit, they will definitely help you. That's how it works.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm
And
kind
if
of
I could help you, I would too. But I'm not great at editing either. I've done it. I've worked with iMovie, but I'm not really, I'm no pro at it. Editing is something like, it's not like riding a bike. It's like when you ride a bike, you learn it once and you got it for life. Editing is something you have to do regularly. You're gonna miss a trick every now and then.
Oh yeah. It's very time consuming.
It is. It's time consuming, and you have to do it regularly because there are a lot of things that come up. There's constantly new programs being done that outdo the previous ones. It's like being upgraded every 6 months, from what I understand.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
yeah. Yeah. I'm still so
You gotta
old
keep up with
school
that,
though.
right.
Well, I mean,
Unless you don't have to. But I'm saying, I mean, if you want to make more stuff faster, production wise, you probably do have to.
yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to know more about the craft, what I'm working with
Sure.
at the same time, or it'd be a lot easier, as I'd say, just to have someone else do it.
Right,
I can
have
hand
them
it off
help
and
you.
go, here you go. Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. Even with all this technology that I have to record with, I'm still in the mindset of where I didn't like the track I just ran down. I hit record, run another track. If I don't like it, I just hit rewind and hit record again. So it's not a whole lot of, I mean, I could go in there and I've seen people do it, and you can cut and paste and chop and
Right.
move stuff around, but that's not how I do it. I mean, I record the old way, where even though I'm still using new technology, it's just still hit rewind and record.
That's good.
Until you get the take you want.
Well,
and
that's
then,
fine. That's good.
and
That's
that's
good
it,
because that way you don't have. I mean, you got it perfect. Steely Dan actually didn't go on tour for 20 years because they didn't like how the live music sounded.
Right.
But then I actually I had the privilege of seeing them August 25th, 1994, 20 years ago. It was a Wednesday at Great Woods in Mansfield.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if have you ever heard of Great Woods? It's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
like, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
even called Great Woods anymore.
No,
but
it isn't, is it?
It's called something else. I don't know, but but now, have you ever performed at any outdoor festivals? Like during the summer, during the warm weather?
Not too far. Not recently. I haven't done anything for years outdoor
Okay.
venues. I've just been kind of like.
I'm going to
buckling
make a
down on-
suggestion to you. When the warm weather comes around next year, go down to Plymouth, Mass, and because they have a really awesome. You can like pay a small vendor's license and you can perform out in the street, and people love that. And during the summer, my very first road show for Topic Time when I was still doing it out of Marshfield occurred on Saturday, June 18th, 2011, and it was right on the street of. Right on the streets of Plymouth, and you can play out. You can sit in front of people's stores, play your music, and it might, and you get. I'm telling you, people love that. You have
Right.
to throw bucks in your guitar case if you want. You
Right.
might try it at Faneuil Hall too in the summertime during, in Boston.
Right, right. Yeah, I've seen people. I've
Sure.
seen a lot of performers down in the subways and
Or even
everything
fairs,
else. Yeah,
like one of my guests that I had on, this guy named Craig Sonnenfeld. He played at the Marshfield Fair. That's where I found him, and he told me. I went up. I just gone to the Marshfield Fair to hear some other people play that I know, friends of mine. In fact, this girl that was playing was actually used to be married to my former girlfriend's brother, and they have a grandchild together. She's now married to someone else, but that's another story for another show. But she was a guest on my show. She played music she wanted to be on, so they were playing at the Marshfield Fair. So I went down there back on August 16th on a Saturday this past summer, and I found Craig, and Craig was wonderful. So I said, Craig, I host a TV show. I used to be in Marshfield, and now it's in Raynham. I'd like to appear on my show as a guest. Because I'd love to. I heard about your show in Marshfield. I know someone that likes it very much, and I'm sorry you're not here anymore. I go, that's okay. You come to Raynham and you can be on my show there, and it'll be just as awesome. And it is. We got a lot of hits on YouTube for that.
Yeah.
And he's a great musician too. He's a little older than we are. He's in his 60s. But so what I'm saying to you is, you might behoove you to get around outside. And in New Hampshire too, there's probably plenty of outdoor venues you can play.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm slowly heading in those directions.
Okay.
Yeah, I just it's taken me quite a while to get what I'm trying to do down and to get my sound and
Yeah.
what I'm doing, my own identity, and of course trying to juggle, teenagers and movie work.
Right.
And, just there's a lot. Everybody has a lot going on in their lives, and it's what you
have your teenagers. You're both daughters, right?
No, I have one of each.
One of each. Are they musically inclined at all?
My daughter can sing pretty well.
There you go.
I tried to get her into piano lessons a long time
Wait a
ago.
minute, hold it, back up a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
You say you're looking for, what if you want, maybe she could be a vocalist in your band. No?
Well, I look at it
And
this
if not,
way.
why not? I'm like, maybe.
She likes to sing for herself.
Okay.
So she's not.
If she's not interested, not interested. I understand.
Well, if she got interested, I'd help her out, not a problem.
Right.
My son, on the other hand, is doing his own EDM music.
Okay. What's EDM exactly? I should know.
Electronic dance music.
Got it.
And it's rave or whatever you want to call it.
Right, rapper and
dubstep or I'm not familiar with all those terms, but I've heard some of his stuff and it's pretty interesting. And he actually has his first gig in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay.
The 25th.
Of Christmas? That's Christmas.
No, 25th of January.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. And just a DJ show. He and I think some other person at this particular club. I'm trying to think of the name off of it. But anyway, it's pretty interesting. That I don't push my kids into anything.
No, I understand.
And they pick up on what they like. And
but it might be, might be. Did you ever run the idea by them of working with you though, in your stuff?
I just recently talked to my son about saying, hey, I'd like to steal some of your ideas and try to blend like a rock song with what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I've heard it. I've heard it done because I've explored what he's into.
Right.
And I've heard some pretty interesting things. But my approach to it would be, I guess, more rock oriented. There'd probably be a breakdown.
Well, I know
section
sometimes
would
it would almost sound like a clash. It could be a clash between those two types of music. They are different.
Yeah, it's different.
Dance and rock are way different. Rap and rave and stuff like that. They are different. But think of the great challenge it would be to get you guys to sit down sometime and try to write something together.
Yeah,
just for fun, just to see what you can come up with.
Yeah, so I got that bug in his head now. So
Good.
That's good. So we'll probably end up collaborating eventually. He's in school, he's busy, and
well, is he still in high school?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So. Yeah, but it's not. You can't be in school now. Christmas vacation must be coming up today.
Yeah, they're coming up. Yeah, and my daughter actually.
She's still in high school too.
Yeah.
Okay.
She just got inducted to the honor society.
Good for her.
Yeah. Smart.
Smart girl. Smart
they're
as a
both
whip.
smart. Yeah.
Go ahead, brag about your kids.
Yeah. Well, she's multilingual.
Yeah, that's right. Japanese
My son's studying Latin.
Wow.
I don't know, but they're very smart kids, and I would say they got that from their
How
mom.
about Pig Latin? You ever study that?
Ixnay, I guess.
Udge ufe uye.
That
means good for you.
All right. Fantastic.
Okay, that's hard. That's not hard, but that's wonderful.
Yeah,
So you got some achievers there. That's great.
Yeah, so we'll just hopefully they stay on that track, and I I just want to encourage them to do what they love to do.
Of course,
and,
yeah.
because then they won't have a job. You know, they'll have something that they love
Something
to
that
do.
they love. If
Yeah,
you, Stephen,
yeah.
there's no pun intended. Stephen Jobs said, "You don't have a job if you love what you do. Get a job, it's a job." I know he's.
Right.
No, I'm trying to, lighten the mood a little. That's wonderful, though. That's.
Hmm.
Are they both like? Who's older?
My daughter's the older.
Now, like, are either of them college bound that you know that you're aware of now?
I don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, I mean, so right now, then, I mean, are either of them seniors in high school?
My daughter will be a senior
Oh, she will
next
be.
year. Yeah.
Okay, probably not till September. She's in 11th grade.
Yes.
Okay, so that's still, well, I mean, it's not, yeah, but now it's time to start thinking about whether you, no, well, actually, there's no time limit. That's the beautiful thing about it. Like, I didn't start college till I was 25, 26.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Well, we'll see
yeah.
what they do. My daughter keeps talking about she wants to go live on a sailboat and sail the world.
It's not so bad.
Yeah,
It's a
no,
dream. I mean, it is,
that's
it's
great.
it's quite a, it's quite a dream.
Yeah. So I
Do
mean,
you guys have a boat?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you live near a lake at least? Do you live near Lake Winnipesaukee maybe around
No,
that area?
we're not too
Oh,
far
well, you're not from,
inland.
you live in King. You told me
Yeah.
you live. You're right near the ocean.
Well, they live over in Exeter, so they're
Oh,
they're about
okay.
15 minutes from Hampton Beach.
Right, exactly. There you
So,
go. Well, that's a great place to
but,
start a world cruise of Hampton Beach.
So it'd be a matter of getting her a decent. I almost got a hold of a sailboat from a friend from work
Okay.
back when I was working on Grown Ups 2. And he was getting rid of a boat because it was too big for him. He wasn't using it. He wanted a smaller boat. He wanted to trade it for a smaller boat, this and that. And he was basically wanted to give it away.
So your daughter actually wants.
But I had nowhere to put it.
Right, I understand. Well, you don't have enough. You can't store a boat in your yard, or.
Well, at the time, I didn't have a yard to put
Okay.
a boat in. Otherwise, I'd have kept it and brought it up and gone through it. You know,
That's
and-
interesting.
But
But it sounds like your daughter. Maybe your daughter should enter the America's Cup race. Maybe she can start like that.
yeah,
Does
she
she-
wants
she
to
like
do
to-
a
does she-
semester at sea too.
Right.
So,
She
yeah.
obviously likes boating. Does she
Yeah.
not? Does she know how to sail? Because it's not easy.
I think she wants to sail. I don't believe she's got a lot of knowledge about sailing.
Well,
I'm,
you
I'm
got-
sure she's got the basics, but I told her, I
Well,
said, her and I ought to go to like a nautical class, or
definitely do that.
basic class together, just because I would be interested in doing it myself.
40 years ago,
anyway.
August 30. I'm going to tell you, we're just about out of time, but before we end this show, August 31st, 1974, it was a Friday. I was stuck across the Lake Winnipesaukee, Lower Beach Pond, which is in Wolfboro, New Hampshire. The wind was blowing, but I picked it up the wrong way, and coming back, it was still blowing in the same direction, and I didn't tack right, so I ended up I had to be towed back to where we were staying those 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I know all about that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to thank you. Did you have a good time? I hope you
I had a great time.
Okay. We covered a lot of stuff. You did a couple songs. We got about a minute and a half to go. You want to give any shouts out to anybody before we wrap it up?
Just the crew I worked with on on the past Disney movie.
There you go.
Everybody we battled the night shift for a couple of months towards the end of this show. It was pretty grueling for that, and yeah, just a great group of guys to work with, and I hope to be very busy next season
Me
as well.
too. I hope you are too, and me. Well, I want to give shouts out to everyone in the town of Raynham, Mass. That's been converted to being Topic Time fans because of the show. I want to give shouts out to Matt, Margot, and Trevor here, and Mike Hale and the Big Cheese here at the TV station. They've been nothing but great to me, and because this is my last show of 2014. And I hope you guys all have great holidays, whenever they arrive. And I'm going to see you guys in 2015. This is actually, I've taken a 2-week hiatus because the two final Wednesdays of 2014, the station will be closed. It's Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, respectively. So I want to wish you guys all great holidays, and stay safe, and see you guys in 2015. And I want to thank you for coming in and driving the distance you did, and hopefully we can do more stuff, and I'll have to help you get me some more guests if you know people that want to be on the show.
Sure.
And, we're going to wrap it up. This is Harrison Young saying have a great 2015. Happy New Year. See you next year.